Good morning, everyone. I am Omita Jagannath of the National Training Agency. Thank you so much for joining us for our Zoom online presentation of Entrepreneurship in TVET. As we all know, TVET stands for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. Before I hand you over to your presenter for today, I'd like to ask that you please keep your microphones on mute so that we can all appreciate all of the contributions that our presenter has to do today. Once again, Ms. Giselle Jordan will be joining us. We ask you to please add your questions into our chat, and we will indeed get to them at the end of this session. We're just giving someone a little more, giving some people a little more time to join, but we're very happy to see the healthy turnout we have today. We have about 32 participants on at the moment. And of course, our sessions will be available via our YouTube channel. So I'm now going to ask Ms. Giselle Jordan to present our session today. This is Entrepreneurship in TVET.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Giselle Jordan, and today I'm going to be taking you through the presentation, Entrepreneurship in TVET. So, first thing that we're going to look at is, what does entrepreneurship mean? It's the ability to run a business, to make a profit from that business, and it's also about taking risks. So then, who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is an individual who creates this new business. This person is a self-starter and is open-minded to make a profit from that business. An entrepreneur will generate new ideas and set up operations to make money, in other words. So today I'm going to give you an example of an entrepreneur named John. So John decides to create this new business. He's a self-starter and he's open-minded to making money from this business. If you all have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat and we would respond to them at the end of the presentation. So what is TVET? TVET is an acronym for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. It is also known as the Technical and Vocational Education, or what we simply call TechVoc. And we also refer to it as skills training. So what can we now say is entrepreneurship in TVET? So this refers to the business skills that support your vocational qualification. Entrepreneurial skills or business skills make you more employable. So let's head over to the next slide. So what are some of these entrepreneurial skills? So you would have had your vocational skill, whether it be in welding, electrical engineering, cosmetology, you name it. And now the entrepreneurial skills is the skills that you will require to run your own business. So as an entrepreneur, you have to work closely with your customers, suppliers, employees, and other stakeholders. So some of these skills include communication and listening skills, creative thinking and problem-solving skills, recognizing opportunities and marketing skills, and managerial and financial skills. So we're going to delve into each one individually, and we'll get a couple more examples of each skill and how it's important. So communication and listening skills. Now, listening is the most important part of communicating with your customers. It helps you to better understand your customer needs, and if you misunderstand your customer, you make the mistake of providing the wrong service, and this can end in a dissatisfied customer. Customers can easily become irritated and frustrated when they feel like they're not being listened to. Listening and communicating effectively result in satisfied customers and better business relationships. All right, so I hope everyone understands that point. If you have any questions, feel free to add it in the chat bar. Creative thinking and problem-solving skills is the other set of skills that we must have. So creative thinking is thinking outside the box, thinking of new and innovative ways that we can conduct business. So consider doing something a new way, a new approach to designing a dress or making a cake or tiling a floor. So for example, let's take John again. So John is thinking about creating a business. He's thinking about starting his own business. He decides to go into cake making. So he wants to do something creative. So his approach would be how can I create a cake that is above what other people are creating? So this is what we call creative thinking. All right, he might create a cake with different layers, different dimensions, and different icing patterns and whatnot. So problem solving is the other point. And problem solving is devising new ways to solve an issue. So let's say, for example, John is baking a cake. He does not have any water to put into this cake mix. A problem solving skill would be, okay, what other option can I use instead of water? Can I use milk? Can I use something else, another substitute? And this is another way that we can think about problem solving. So it's the ability now to find different solutions for the problem, right? There's also some examples here, like in mechanics, you will assess the mechanical problem and then solve it by using a new technique that might be cost effective. All right, and another is carpentry, using a new approach to install a retaining wall. So moving forward, the next set of skills we must have is to recognize opportunities and marketing skills. So we must be able to recognize opportunities and then market those opportunities. So our opportunities come from our creativity. Some of the easiest ways to identify these opportunities come by looking at problems within your own expertise. For example, as an expert hairdresser, you find opportunities in using organic material for hair treatment. The opportunity is then marketed to attract new customers and retain existing ones. So let's say you're a hairdresser and you've decided, okay, I haven't seen anything that's 100% natural in the market. I think this is a good opportunity for me. I then start looking at ingredients. I do some research, and then I concoct um, my own treatment. And then now that I've created this treatment, I would now ask myself, how do I market this so I can actually put on specials for my customers, let them know that they can get a free treatment with their hair service, right? So those are the way that you market your opportunities. And the next step would be managerial and financial skills. So we could have all of the above skills, but without being able to manage them properly, we would end up in serious problems. So controlling the finances of your business is a critical aspect of managing your own business. So these are some tips to help. You create a budget. You see where you can cut cost and limit expenditure. You pay your suppliers on time. That way you don't end up paying interest. You give customers a deadline date to make payments to ensure that your payments come in on time so you can then pay your suppliers on time. And you reduce the number of persons that you employ. So you see how best you can come up with cost-effective ways to carry out your tasks. As a manager, especially for startup business, you have to set goals and goals that are smart. You have to stay organized and you have to be a leader and not just a manager. And that means that you lead by example. You don't tell people, you do rather than tell people what to do. So you show people how to do it as opposed to telling them how to. So these are the skills that we need, the entrepreneurial skills. Should you have any questions, again, I'm reminding you to please put them in the chat bar and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So here we have some testimonials. We do have a YouTube channel and that is NTA TNT. So you can also check these out. We won't be playing them because of the short time that we have, but feel free to look at them. So we have Sana Amber Ali, and she's a former student at YTEP, and she did her training in commercial food preparation. And then we have Brandon Woods. So these are young entrepreneurs who are telling you about their story, about training, how it is that they got into this field, and what are the benefits they've experienced so far from being part of TVET and entrepreneurship in TVET. Celeste Huggins is actually our winner for World Youth Skills Day competition, which was held last year. And she was able to tell us why she got into TVET, how this boosted her growth as a young entrepreneur. She has also given us information about what are the benefits of being an entrepreneur in TVET in particular. So be sure to check out our young entrepreneurs as well on our YouTube channel. Right? So make sure you can take down the information and TATNT on YouTube. So another question that many people ask is now, where should I locate my business? I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm now finished with my training. I'm now out of school. I don't have much money. Where should I locate this business? What should I do? What is my next step? So what you can do is use the yard space at home or car garage, or if you have any space at the front of your home, using home space is a good start. You can also partner with a friend and use space in your community center. So your income now may not be a lot to cover a rental space. So what you can do is probably partner with someone. So you have joint incomes and you can rent a small place somewhere that's very reasonable. And most of these places are like community centers and whatnot. So you can also use a room space at home. So depending on your business, you can use a room space. A lot of persons are conducting online businesses and then they do their creations at home. So this is another place that you can use. And then you can provide your services free to a neighbor in exchange for space to start your business. Or you can get financial help from family and friends. And there's also NEDCO, financial institutions that help startup businesses. So NEDCO may be a good option as well. So what are the benefits of entrepreneurship? So I have my skill, I'm thinking about owning my own business, about opening my own business rather. I know you're thinking, but if I do this, I invest all this money into this new business, what is really the benefits of entrepreneurship? What is the benefits that's going to come to me? And entrepreneurship is important as it has the ability to improve your standard of living and create wealth, but not only just for you, but for other related businesses. And that means if I become an entrepreneur, it also creates wealth for my business partners because now I'm now engaging them in business activities as well, increasing their sales, etc. Entrepreneurs also help drive change with innovation, where new and improved products enable new markets to be developed. So what that means is that, you are a hairdresser, you're thinking about new ways to innovate. And from the time you innovate a new product, you'd realize that someone else in the market comes along and offers similar, if not the same exact thing. So you always have to think about ways of innovating. So that's why we say it's a benefit because it propels you to innovate, to bring out that innovation. So you're always at the head of your market. It also builds new markets. So for example, you would have had store-bought hair treatments, for example. And because nothing is available with natural products, you then decide to devise your own treatment. Then someone else comes along. So there's a new market now for 100% natural hair care products. All right. And entrepreneurship is self-independence and opportunity for self-growth. And I think that explains itself. So let's move on. So 7 characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Here we see a photo of Bill Gates. And he is one of the most famous entrepreneurs in our era. He's the richest man in the world. He is worth over 79 billion US dollars. And he's held the title of world's wealthiest individuals for 16 of the past 21 years. So what you think makes him successful? And we see here that he's knowledgeable, not just about his product, but the market that he's in as well. So if it is that you're in the market for um, electrical installation, right? You have to know the products within that market and the market itself. He is self-motivated, which means he gets up in the morning and he is eager and ready to work, right? He's a risk taker. Now, risk takers, they take risks. They don't, focus entirely on what if it doesn't work out. They focus more on what if it works out. They are sociable people, so they know how to interact well with others. They are able to manage finances. They're flexible, meaning that when I call at 7 o'clock in the night and I want something rushed, they're able to say, yes, no problem, I can do it. And they're also passionate about what it is that they do. Moving forward. So how do you think TVET impacts entrepreneurship? Let's have a little discussion. This is to the end of the presentation. So you can start typing your questions. You can start answering this question. How do you think TVET impacts entrepreneurship? I would love to interact with you. I would love to hear from you now. And I'd just like to thank you for listening and thank you for being part of this presentation today. And just some contact information. We're located at 140 to 142 Merchant Suturan Road, Chaguanas. Our telephone number is 672-7107. You can find a lot of our information on our website, which is ntatt.org. You can also send us an email. And we do have social media presence on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. So feel free to reach out on any one of these. If should you have any other questions or queries or matters that you want us to help you deal with later on, we'd be more than happy to help you. So now I turn it back over to Omita, and she's going to go through the questions and I will answer accordingly. So Omita, thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Giselle. I don't know about you guys, but I really appreciated all of that insight and all of that information. So who here is now feeling very motivated to either start their business or continue a business that they may have already started? I see that we've had a very, very, very large turnout today. We actually had over 78 participants at max. So what I'll do now is I will look at the questions that came in. All right, so let's go in order here. We have a lot of persons greeting us. Thank you so much. Somebody actually asked us a question related to the NTA and apprenticeships and creating a standard for media production. Giselle, how should we, if somebody would like to have a new standard created, an occupational standard created, what is the best way they should go about making this request to the National Training Agency?
Okay, Omita. So for the person who asked the question, thank you very much for your question. All queries and requested information, especially where it relates to standards, has to go through Office of the CEO, and it would then be passed on to our research and planning department. So the process, I'll just take you through the process a little bit. So the research and planning department would now take this request and actually do some research in that particular sector. Hi, MT, can you kindly mute your microphone, please? Research and planning will then go through, they will do some research within that sector to see if it is feasible, first of all, for a standard to be developed for that entire sector. Then from that, that request then goes to occupational standards and sector support, and then they would reach out to industry experts, and they would form basically what is called a sector advisory committee, and then from that the standard is developed, and then it goes for screening and approval, and then it goes to CANTA, which is the Caribbean Association of NTAs, for regional approval. So all requests must be made to our office of the CEO. So you can call us for more information. Our forms are available online on our website, which is listed here. So feel free to give us a call. And if it is that you're interested in making a request for a standard to be developed, you can either ask for our research and planning department, our occupational standards and sector support department, or the office of our CEO for further information. And there's also information on our website as well. So check that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. So we see some questions coming in, and in some cases, we just wanted to remind everyone that given the current pandemic, many of our offices are currently operating out of their homes. However, we are available via email, and our general email is consumerservices@ntatt.org. It's on your screen. So feel free to email us there, and we can help you a little bit further if it's something that you needed along those lines. So let's go through some more questions here. I see someone is saying, big up to all the young trainees, young entrepreneurs, and I'm happy that we're all here trying to motivate each other. I see someone saying that they're a student at Costa pursuing software engineering and interested in entrepreneurship. Would you recommend starting in a business or doing a short contract work before starting my own small business? So let me read that again properly for you, Giselle. I'm a COSTAT student pursuing software engineering, and I'm interested in entrepreneurship. Would you recommend starting in a business or doing short contract work before starting my own small business?
For me personally, this is just for me. This doesn't have like a clear-cut answer. But for me personally, I would take a short-term contract, so I would get a better feel of the market for that particular field of training, and it would give me a chance to network. So fresh out of school, I may not know anyone in that particular market. But if it is that I join a firm for let's say a 3-month period, I'm able to now see who are the market leaders, who are the other competitors in this market, how they operate, and I'm at a better footing to say, okay, now I can stand on my own and open my own business because I have a fair idea of how the market is. And not just that, it gives you some sort of financial stability in the short term. If it is that you do go with the contract job, the short contract, that way it increases your income to start your own business as well. Um, and yeah, I think that is what I would do personally. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just that what you would prefer. I would tell you also to ask other people in the market about it, get some more information, do some research, and also pray about it. So that's my advice.
That's excellent advice, Giselle, and I'm pretty sure that that advice can be applied to many different types of jobs, many different types of businesses that somebody would want to engage in. And the pandemic has indeed brought some challenges, but it's also brought a lot of opportunities to us, as I'm sure we have seen. Let's see, let's continue again. Someone is asking if they can get access to the slides when our presentation is over. And I wish to remind everyone that yes, all of our presentations that we have been doing since July and that we will continue to do for you, will be available on our YouTube channel. Once again, our YouTube channel is at NTATNT. If you look at your screen, we've actually put it there for you, and we really do look forward to hearing your feedback and your comments on that. So Giselle, let's see what the other question is that we have here, because we have like about 10 more minutes before our scheduled time is over. Good day, I'm a custard student doing a BBA in management and entrepreneurship. I'd like to know if the recorder will be available. So I actually did just answer that question. I see someone is asking, how do they apply for TVET approval? Giselle, can you just remind us the email address to send it in?
Okay, so for TVET approval, do you mean center approval, which includes program approval? I just want to get some clarification so that I answer properly and I can probably take them through the process a little bit better.
I'm seeing some clarification here from Kimraj Manu. Yes, they're asking about center approval.
Okay, so all requests for center approval must be done through the office of the CEO. So everything that comes in from the general public, whether it be standards development, center approval, a request must be made through the office of the CEO. We do have forms available online for you to fill out and submit via email. This then goes to program development and management department, and they would work closely with getting the internal audit aspect set up. Then it goes to our quality assurance department, who ensures that your programs and all of that meet our standards. And that is a relationship that we would make with you and the NTA, officers from the NTA, to ensure that the process is completed from beginning to end. And the email address for that would be,
I think we can send them to consumer services and then we'll direct it for them given the current situation where we are all operating out of home. So
right.
yes, we'll do that. We'll accept the email queries through consumer services. And please be reminded that we are all available for virtual meetings as well. So more than likely our officers will be in contact with you.
Okay, so just to remind you of the email address, it's on the screen, but it's also consumerservices@ntatt.org. So when you send your email there with your request, we would then forward it to the office of the CEO, and you should get a response via email pretty much within a week's time.
So I see we have about 6 more minutes before we end. I'll take the last couple of questions here for you, Giselle. I'm going to read them for you. Hello, how do we go about if we want to open a small business and would like to get a loan besides in the bank?
I'm not particularly sure what options are available right now, but I do know that Nedco is available. So they fund startup companies, so you can check them out for more information. I'm not sure with the financial market right now, who else is offering startup loans. I know the ADB was around at one time. I'm not sure if they're
Right.
still funding.
But if I could just interject here, Giselle, let's be reminded our budget was only read on Monday. So whatever policies would come out and whatever new programs would be coming out now would have to be reliant on whatever was stipulated in that. But NETCO might be a good place for us to look into for our investigations.
Yes.
Do you have a response on how one can go about shipping products internationally?
Shipping into products nationally.
Shipping products internationally.
Shipping products internationally, sorry. Um, you would have to get in contact with a shipping service or a broker, and they would be able to help you with that. I don't have any more information regarding that.
I think I can help here, Giselle. I strongly suspect the Ministry of Trade has been doing some business recently regarding that. Perhaps you can check out their website, Ministry of Trade and Industry, to see if they can assist you on that. Let's see, we probably have time for 2 more questions. How do you claim ownership of your products and brand? That's a copyright question. Yeah. In terms of copyright, you would have to go to the Institute for Trademarks. So there's a particular ministry that has to do trademarks. So, have you any familiarity with this, Giselle?
No, I don't.
All right, no problem. We can probably see if there's any information that is available and post it onto our social media channels for you because we're getting some really interesting questions today and it's really making all of us think. I see here someone's asking if the video will be shared and would love to share it with their colleagues. And yes, we do invite you to please pay attention to all of our social media pages and our YouTube channel. Look out for this particular session to be uploaded by the end of the week. And once again, our YouTube channel is at NTATNT. Giselle, we have a question here regarding anyone starting a bookkeeping business online, but I don't know that there's any specific advice we can give on that um, at this point in time. Is there anything you can add in terms of being an entrepreneur in business of bookkeeping? All right, it seems to have
What
gone.
I can, sorry about that.
Yeah.
What I can say is for any online business, online presence is important. You want to show what your company has been doing without showing too much of it at the same time. So, you just have to be smart about what you share, how you share, and also bookkeeping is people's private information. So, you want to be careful with that as well. My advice to you would be online. You want to create online presence. You want to keep active with your postings. You want to maintain that presence online as much as you can. You want people to see your brand and your your work essentially.
All right, so very quickly, the last couple of questions. I just wanted to correct something I said just now. In terms of your trademark, please contact the Intellectual Property Office, which is under the Ministry of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs. We have someone here who did a welding program in NESC and wanted some assistance to run a small parlor. However, you just indicated perhaps Nedco might be better suited to answer that type of query. Um, Giselle, we have an interesting question here. I'm an IT student of Costat and decided to open an online business, which I have some 8 years experience. Is it necessary to register my business even if it's solely online? And do you provide guidance on this? That's the last question we have today.
Okay. So I would take you through something that's a little bit personal of mine. Recently I decided to start a sideline business, and I thought for some months now, should I register this business or should I not? Should I register this business or should I not? And I have a friend at Netco, and he basically advised me that even if it's an online business, you should register it because that way you're able to do a lot more. You can go to the bank, you can open a bank account. You wouldn't have the issue of banks asking you when you're going to make deposits, where's this money coming from, XYZ. You're able to now say you're employed, you're self-employed, and show that you are when you have a registered business. When you have a registered business, it gives you more power behind your brand. It's not something because let's say you open a business and the next day someone comes and opens the same business, take your name, take your brand, everything. There's no sort of, although you can take legal action, there's no strong legal action against the person for doing that. So it has a lot of legalities behind it. You don't want someone to just take your brand and your hard work and pass it off as theirs. So it's important, while it may not be the most important thing right now in terms of your startup. I think it's one of the most important things you can do over time for your own business. So that's just my take on it.
Well, I think that's all the time we have today, but Giselle, we've given everyone a lot of food for thought. And I see that we actually have maintained at least